just feel like it's so helpful to just hear how other people are doing this. And hey, Nasreen, just like, can I just say hi? I appreciate how much value you offer in your group, Emo Social Podcast, super generous, given you have a wait list and all of your clients renew their agreements. Oh, that is so kind. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Balancing evening work stuff. Okay, cool. I can talk about that for sure. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it's just helpful to hear like the point of this is not to say like you should have my schedule, like that's not it at all. But I think that sometimes in our space it just feels so rigid, like it's supposed to be this. Like I don't think it's really like this anymore, but I feel like there was this long period of time where it was like the miracle morning vibes were kind of the thing where it's like it's supposed to be like you get up at this time and like do this big of a morning routine and all of this stuff. And so sometimes I think it's just helpful to be like, here's like what mine looks like. And it doesn't mean yours should look like that, but it might just give you some perspective on that too. Virgo rising, always curious about routines. Yes. How it changed being a mom, got that breaking point with my schedule. So this is helpful. Oh, so good, Kelsey. Hopefully this just gives some like perspective. But yeah, I think it can feel pressured. And like, that was something I experienced. I think I wrote a post about this. And like, when I started, to like be mom, balance work, all of that, it was like, there was almost this, like, there's a way it's supposed to look or it's supposed to be. And as soon as I like gave that up and was just like, oh, I'm just gonna do it however I fucking want to do it. And however feels good to me is when things got better for me. So, again, it feels really important for me to stress that like I am in no way saying like this is the right way to do it. In fact, like I'm sure some of what I will tell you, there will be parts where you're like, oh, I would fucking never do it that way. And that's okay too. It's just like helpful to hear what someone else is doing. And hopefully it just gives you permission that there's not like a right way to do this. And just, you can take pieces. Hey, Alyssa. Shante said totally. Yes. Okay, cool. So I'll kind of just get into some of it. And then as questions come up, you guys let me know. But so basically, okay, start of the day. So Bennett wakes up about 7. I am not yet at a momming point where I get up before him. That is something that I would maybe like to do in the future. But for right now, he still gets up sometimes at night. So I take as much sleep as I can get. I imagine when he starts sleeping more fully through the night, there will be a time where I'm like wanting to get up before him. And I think that would probably be nourishing. When I was pumping, I was getting up before him a lot because I wanted to get a pump in the morning, and not having to do that has been really fucking nice. So like I was getting up at 6 sometime or 6:15 to pump sometimes before he would get up, but I'm not doing that anymore at all. I get up when he gets up basically. So we get up around 7. And I take him from 7 to 8:30. We just chill, we play, we have breakfast. It's just like relaxing time for about like an hour and a half kind of thing. He's like slow to wake up sometimes. So we just like sit and cuddle. And that's just like a really nice time in the morning. And I just like love having those slow mornings and spending that time with him. I love that you're admitting you're not at a mama point where you get up before him. No, still doing the same at 19 months. Yeah, like I think there is a point where that will be like super valuable, but like right now I know for sure sleep is more valuable to me. Like if you don't sleep, it makes you fucking insane. Like, you know what I mean? Like the journaling in the morning is not going to overcome lack of sleep. And I think it's just worth saying that. Mindset matters. I'm like the biggest proponent of it. I'm the biggest believer in that. But like, we have to like have like the physical baseline. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm like, I'm picking sleep right now. Yes, perfect, Ariel. I love that. So yeah, so we just kind of have like slow chill mornings together. I don't really like try to do a lot in that time at all. Like I just feed him and relax with him and play with him. Sometimes I'll put on my makeup because he likes to go through my makeup bag, but like, that's it. Like there's no pressure. There's no like must get ready. There's no to-dos, that kind of thing. I was getting ready with him before and it was like just more stressful than it was worth, to be honest. So I just don't. And then our nanny comes at 8:30. Then I take that time to get ready. Our nanny's here from 8:30 to 3:30. Monday through Thursday. And on Friday, she's here from 10 to 12. Something I will say about that feels important to note, not to like derail this whole conversation by any means, but I feel like, I'm always personally curious about this. And I know a lot of other mamas are too, but so our nanny works about 30 hours, I guess, 28 hours a week. But we actually pay her on salary. So we pay her for like 40, which seems crazy that you're like paying a premium for part-time in some ways, but for us, it works so well because Kenny travels quite a lot for work. And so it just gives us flexibility. So it gives us that ability to say like, hey, can you come early this day? Can you stay a little bit later this day? Depending on when my client calls are. I have some clients that are in, different time zones. So occasionally I'll have a call that does start at 8:30 in the morning. So just having the ability to kind of have that, adaptability, flexibility, whatever you want to call it, is worth it to us to pay that. And so it's nice when we only have to have 28 hours a week of childcare, because like I love that we get to be so present with Bennett and with him all the time. And some weeks we just need more. And so it's been really nice to kind of have that flexibility. So I just wanted to share that because that's kind of always an interesting question. I think, for me, it was almost like some form of permission to be like, I can pay for that time and choose not to use it, and not feel like wasteful about that or anything, but to feel like that is such like a value to our family to have that flexibility instead of like, oh, but I'm like paying for this time, should I be using it? Like it doesn't have to be like that. It could be like I'm paying for it because it gives me a lot of peace of mind and it gives me a lot of flexibility. And like anytime Kenny has to travel, I'm not like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out if we need to. And a lot of times we don't, but like having that really matters to us. So just wanted to name that in case you're thinking like, how does that work? How does that look for you? That's how it looks for us. It's 28 hours a week, but we have like pay for 40, and the kind of like agreement is like, if it ever went over 40, we pay overtime, but it's never gone over 40 ever. So that is what we're working with. So anyway, she comes at 8:30. I start getting ready then. And then I usually have a call at most days. I would say take a call at 9, not always. But I would say many days I take a call at 9. So that gives me like that half hour buffer to like get myself ready in the morning. So, hey, Jordan, then I do a call. I, sometimes will answer clients like in that half an hour window too. It does not take me very long to get ready because I sleep with this, thing in my hair so that it wakes up curly. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And I have like these eyelashes that you only have to put on like once every 5 or 6 days. So like I can get ready like that in the morning. So then I usually will also answer clients in that time, get a coffee, like do all the things. And then I'll start my calls. Every day looks a little bit different in terms of calls, but the way we have it set up is all of my clients, or most of my clients, I would say like 90%, are on like repeating times. So it's like on Mondays, my afternoons have more calls. On Tuesdays, my afternoons have more calls. On Wednesday and Thursday mornings have more. So it kind of just varies a little bit in terms of that, but they're the same each week. So I think that's important to say. Amanda said, very impressed by how quick you get ready. I am also very impressed by how quick I get ready, to be honest with you. It is like really a game changer though. Like I can get my makeup done in like 7 minutes. I can get these eyelashes on in 6 minutes if I need to. And it's not like I'm like trying to like beat myself, but it's just nice to kind of be like, okay, this doesn't have to take up like hours of my day sort of thing, where like, I'm sure there was a point in time where I would let it. So yeah, so days look a little bit different in terms of schedules. So basically every day I have time where I do clients and I also do some work. And I like it like that. This is totally a personal preference. I have tried it where I had full, like really full days of client calls and then full days of like time to work. And I do not do as well with that. I like will kind of like piss away that whole day of work, so to speak, because it's just like, I'm like, oh, what should I do now? But when I have like, okay, I have like 2 hours here to get XYZ things done, I am stellar at getting it done. So that just works for me. Again, I have clients that are the total opposite. Like they want to have like 2 full days of calls, multiple days off, that kind of thing. No right or wrong there. But for me, having a little bit of both each day really, really works for me. Taking out the hair thing you sent me, it's been a game changer, I gotta tell you. Shantae said, for sure, I feel that I don't do well with completely off days off being coaching calls. Yeah, same. I don't either. It's just like, even if I make a plan, it's just like my brain just, I don't know. It's like I'm like floating somewhere. When I have calls, it's like grounding and I'm like on track. It's just, I don't know. It's so different. So that's what I do. Here's something else I'm going to share just because I think it's helpful to hear how other people are doing it, but this is probably not right for most people. Well, let me start with this. Do you guys know environments in human design? I was actually talking to one of my clients about this morning, and it like triggered that for me. And I was like, this feels important to share. So my environment in human design is kitchens. And so what that means is like, I like the kind of like busyness and hustle and bustle and like being like in it when I'm working. And so for me, if I'm on a call, like I'm in my office, doors are shut, like obviously I'm like 100% focused on the thing I'm doing, the client, the live stream, whatever. But if I'm not, like I'll often open my door and, oh, you guys know some of your, oh, Manali's going to look it up, markets. Yeah. Jess's mountains, I think. You can look up your environment. If you go to, Erin is always my go-to. I think her, Erin Claire Jones is always my go-to. If you type in like Erin Claire Jones blueprint, she's so fucking amazing. I'm obsessed with her. And it will come up. Yeah, kitchens is a thing, right? So I like to kind of be in it. So anyway, if I'm like on a call, I'm like here. But otherwise, like I'll probably open my door. The dog will be going in and out. Bennett is, obviously with our nanny, but they'll come in my office a lot. He'll sometimes play on the floor in my office while I'm getting some work done. I would say by and large, for most people, that would make them crazy. So I am not saying that has to be true. But for me, I wish I had thought of that more at becoming a mom, because I almost felt like, oh, I'm supposed to be away from him or something. And then when I was like, I just don't fucking want to. I want him to be able to walk in and out of my office sometimes. And like, I want that. And that feels okay for me. And I know a lot, if not most of my mom friends, clients are like, fuck no, like I need space. But for me, that just feels good. And so I'm just like naming that as something I do. Sometimes I obviously like have to like, and then I'll just shut my door and it's fine. But for right now in the age he's at, he's like super in the like, I want to be with mama all the time phase. And so it just kind of feels nice to be able to give him that sometimes. So fascinating. You describe my worst nightmare. So funny, man. I work best in cafes with music and people. So I get that. Yeah. You might, you're market. So I guess similar, but yeah. Manali is caves. But I do love having hermit introvert days. Others out at a coffee shop can do that every day. Yeah. So funny. It's so funny how we're all so different, right? So again, that is not the right thing. But like for me, like, just hearing like, oh, it makes sense that I'm okay with this. I'm not like sabotaging my work, or I'm not like doing something that's really not good for me. It's like, oh, this is good for him right now. And it's good for me. And I just like being able to see him a lot throughout the day right now. I'm sure there will be a time where that changes or whatever, but for right now, that's kind of what works for us. So, if I'm not on a call, I usually have my door open, he'll kind of be in and out. And I just, probably don't get as much accomplished as I could sometimes, but like, that's okay. Again, I'm just kind of like being okay with that in this season. I love that I get to like be around him all day, and that means a lot to me. So that's what I'm doing. I also kind of I do try to pack in like pretty much all the like me stuff I want to do. So like if I want to journal, I'll journal. while our nanny's here, if I have appointments, like I went to the dermatologist this morning and the dentist this morning, because I had like no calls this morning. So I took care of that stuff, or like if I need to like go run an errand, I'll do it a lot during that time, or different things like that. And so, again, I think trying to just be more fluid. I know that like there was a part of me that was like, oh, if our nanny is here, I should be working, and just like letting go of that has been so helpful for me. Like, it's almost like the best time to like do stuff for me in many ways. Not that I can't like bring Bennett to like Target with me or to run an errand or something like that. And certainly we do that all the time, but I'm not going to bring him to the dentist with me. You know what I mean? Or if I do want to like go on a really specific errand for myself, like sometimes it just doesn't make sense to bring him. And so it's really nice to kind of just like have all that ability to be like, oh, I'm allowed to do whatever the fuck I want during the day. Love that. Your valleys, Ariel. Elisa said, oh my God, do you know how differently ceiling heights work? That's for different kinds of work for our brains. That's something we can do too, to change up where we work based on what we work on. Oh, interesting. I hadn't heard of that. Hey, Katie. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, right? Like in 28 hours, seeing clients, working, doing stuff for yourself, like that takes up a lot of time. I also, one of the things I do a lot, which is kind of funny, but just sharing, is I will take a bubble bath during the day, like often. It just feels really good to me. It feels super nourishing. I love doing that in the middle of the day. I can do it at night, but there's something about like the middle of the day that just does it for me. I don't know, always has. And so I do that often when she's here, and just like, yeah, having given myself the permission to be like, part of having childcare and support is being able to take care of myself. And so I do, yeah, like a lot of that during the day, which, again, we'll get to, but leads me to like, I do work at night in the evenings a lot. But like that trade-off just feels worth it to me right now. Right. So to be able to like have a really slow morning together, to be able to do shit for myself that I want during the day, to not feel rushed during the day, to let him run in and out and not be like, oh my God, he can't be in here, I'm like trying to get this stuff, like that, like, like lack of intensity or like ease, like, yes, then I have to like do some shit at night. But for me right now, that just feels so grounding, and it feels regulating to my nervous system and all of those things. So that's just what I'm rolling with right now. Again, there may be a time where I change that up and I'm like, no, I want to be like a lot more disciplined during the day, and I want to have that time in the evening. But because Bennett is so small still, like he even sometimes still like has like a little bit of false start sometimes. So like if he goes down, sometimes he'll wake up once after he goes down and kind of needs you to like help him settle. So it would be much harder for me to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to get all my work stuff done during the day, and then I'm going to do personal stuff at night. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily want to like run to the mall at 8 p.m. once he's asleep kind of thing. So this just works in this season of life where like it's easy for me to like sit on the couch with my laptop at 8 p.m. So I think it's just helpful to say like whatever works for you is fine, but like basically being able to fit things in when it feels best or easiest to me is helpful. Like it's easiest for me to like make doctor's appointments, run errands, do stuff like that during the day. And it's easiest for me to like catch up on some stuff at 9:00 at night or 8:00 at night or whatever. So I'll talk more about what that looks like, but I think it's just worth saying, like, I think again, it's like, it's such like a societal thing where it's like, you're supposed to like do this during the day and then stop at night or whatever. And it's like, that just doesn't work for me. So that's not what I do. Very Scorpio moon of you. Oh, I don't know what my moon is, Shantae. I'm going to have to look. I'm not a mom. I love hearing how you navigate it. Thank you for sharing. Oh, thank you so much. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of my day. I do like personal stuff and it's kind of in and out. I obviously get work done. I see clients. Then our nanny leaves at 3:30. Sometimes I have a call till 4. And Kenny takes him from our nanny and hangs with him till 4. Then I'll take him. And yeah, we just kind of like hang out, play. We used to go to the park every day, but it's hot as shit in Florida right now. So we are not doing that, but sometimes we'll go run an errand, or we'll go to this little play place thing that's indoors, or we'll just like hang out in the house. Sometimes I'll take him in the pool, whatever. We just play. What is really, really nice is Kenny is so helpful. And I think that's worth saying. I could not do this without that amount of help I have. And so I just want to like name that. Like, I can be so present with Bennett because Kenny takes care of so much of our like life and day-to-day shit. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, fuck, I have to go to the grocery store. Like, he's going to take care of that. So like when I have that time with Bennett, I get to be really present and just like kind of do what he wants to do or play, or, you know, like I said, we go in the pool or we go to the park, or like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I have this like window of time where I have to get all of this stuff done, and he kind of has to come with me. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you have to do. That's just not our setup. And so I just want to like name that too. Like, everything I'm telling you is built on the fact that we have a nanny and I have a really, really involved, supportive partner. So yeah, like Kenny will cook dinner and stuff while I'm playing with him too. So it just really helps. And it's like a nice way where we divide things up. This isn't like a hard and fast rule, but like I would say this is just the majority of how it goes. I do a lot more of the like present parenting, and Kenny does a lot more of the like, what do we need? What does our house need? Who needs fed? Who needs like a lunch prepped? Who needs dinner prepped? Like, he does a lot of like that kind of stuff. Like, he makes sure Bennett has diapers, like just like mental load stuff that I don't have to do, so I can be really present. I take on more of the like active childcare kind of stuff, and he takes on more of that. Again, we both do both. Like, he plays with Bennett all the time. He's super present. I can certainly run a fucking errand. It's not like it's like that's it, but again, just kind of like sharing some things there that I think is really helpful to know in context of all of this. But like, that really helps me a lot, because then when I'm with Bennett, I feel like I really get to kind of just like go with the flow, do what feels good for us. And I don't feel like a huge kind of like weight or burden, you know. I know moms all the time talk about the mental load, and in some ways, obviously that's there. In other ways, I feel like very lucky that it's not there as intensely as I think it could be. So that's what we do. We play, we eat dinner together as a family at like 5:36. We always do that together every night. Then Kenny and I give him a bath together at like 6:45, 7. Get him like ready for bed together. It's kind of like really nice little time. Like, we always do dinner, bath together as a family, which is like super sweet. And then I put him to bed every night, and it still takes a while to put him to bed. I hear this will continue. So I'm like not sleep training or doing anything like that. So I still rock him. I still hold him until he falls asleep. So sometimes that takes 10 minutes. Sometimes that takes 45 minutes, you know, just on his timeline. So let's say he goes to bed probably by like 7:45 most nights. He's asleep by then. And I usually, once he kind of like is on me and falls asleep, I usually like sit on my phone for like 15 minutes and look at something lovely on TikTok or Instagram. And it is so relaxing to have like a sleeping baby on you and like do the like lovely scroll. I know for some people, like scrolling social media is not it. I'm not someone that like gets trapped in the rabbit hole. I can like sit there for 15 minutes and enjoy every fucking minute of it. So just being real, that's what I do. And I feel like that's like my wind down time kind of. The theme feels very rooted and it's safe to be supported. Yes, that is my vibe for sure. Thank you. So yeah, that's like almost like, okay, decompress, you know, like wind down. So then I probably walk out of his room 7:45, 8. And then Kenny and I hang for a little bit, chat a little bit more. Obviously we spend time together at dinner and bath time, but like, you know, we're with Bennett. So we usually like hang and chat for a little while. I get ready for bed. I do like my face, my skincare routine, very into it, very beautiful process. Kenny takes the monitor and I just like zen out on my skincare routine. So then I probably will jump on my laptop about 8:30, 8:45, maybe 9, depends, you know, how long we chatted for, how into my skincare routine I am. And I just always work off my laptop. So I'll just take my laptop out on the couch. Kenny and I'll sit together, we'll watch a show and I'll work. So it's like super chill. Like I think sometimes when people think, oh, I work in the evenings, they're like picturing me like at a desk with like, you know, like, right kind of thing. And not that there would be anything wrong with that either. It's just not how I work. Again, I'm kitchens, right? So I'm like, I can watch a show and talk and like, you know, like it's just, that's easy for me. And again, I'm not saying that it's for most people. I just happen to thrive like that, which makes my life easy. And I think it also helps because it doesn't feel like I'm like, oh, I can't spend time with Kenny at night. It's like, we're still spending time together. He doesn't give a shit that I'm like on my laptop because we're like just watching a show. So I really like that. Then I'll usually work for, you know, it like depends, right? Okay, what kind of TikTok content I'll watch? Okay, I will share. It just depends. Like, you know, maybe it's like a half hour, maybe it's 45 minutes, maybe it's an hour. It kind of doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. I like that. Like, I love that kind of like environment of like being on the couch, working, watching a show. Like that just does it for me. So yeah, I'll do that and I'll finish up. And that's kind of the day. So what I really love about that is I feel like all the important things to me, I get to be really present for. Um, very beautiful process for the skincare routine. It is. The TikTok algorithm is wild. Somehow it always spot out of exactly what I want to see. One of the few social media I genuinely enjoy. Lauren, I so agree with that. It's amazing. Yeah, thank you for being here, Steph. Definitely catch the beginning for sure. But what I really like about that is I just feel like everything that's really important to me like gets to happen in a day. And so even if it doesn't like look or happen in the way that I feel like we're kind of traditionally told it's supposed to happen, like it works so well for me. Like I get really present time with my son, I get present time with my husband, we get really good time together as a family. I get to do my work, I get to have my skincare routine, like all the stuff that matters fits, you know what I mean? Hi, Michelle. I think the one thing like, you know, that maybe would come up for someone listening to that is like, where is like the downtime? But for me, like putting him to bed and like that is so relaxing. Being on the couch and working like that does feel like downtime to me, to be totally honest with you. Like I really like what I do. Like I feel like I would be like looking at business shit anyway, or whatever, you know, thinking about it. I take baths during the day, like all that kind of stuff, right? Like I feel like I have enough downtime. And actually I just got a frame TV added in my office. And so now like I watch my shows when I eat lunch. Like I just feel like I have these awesome pockets and it just looks different than like, oh, you're supposed to sit on the couch at 8 p.m. and not work. You know what I mean? Like it's just so funny how we get conditioned in these ways. Hi Michelle. Jess said I'm gonna derail this whole combo, but what's the beautiful bracelet you're wearing? Oh, thank you. This these are like my special like milestone bracelets. So they're just like the love bracelets, but this one is so special because Sarah, you guys know Sarah Wiles, my best friend that we did Happy Thoughts with. She has this one too. So this is like our friendship bracelet. It's from Gorgiana, which we're obsessed with. And we both never take it off and it's super special. I highly recommend them. They're amazing. I had to delete TikTok ever. I got down a rabbit hole, the whole Johnny Depp process. I'm like, why am I so invested in this? Yeah, well, you get invested because TikTok won't stop presenting it to you. My TikTok is so light. Like I never watch a business thing. Like I love, this is going to come as no surprise after what I just said. I love watching like skincare shit on TikTok. Like, oh my God, it does it for me. I love watching like fashion stuff. Like what are going to be the fall 2023 trends? Like give me the videos on that. What else do I watch on TikTok? Like I love like funny, cute kid shit and mom shit. I love some home design stuff, although like that's not really my forte, but I like watching it. I think that's literally all that's on my TikTok. I'm not even kidding you. It's so delightful and so like light, which I just can't even tell you guys when you're just like, you have a sleeping baby on you. It's so peaceful and quiet. You have the sound machine on and you're watching like skincare on TikTok. It's just, I'm so basic and it's just so good. Yeah, they're so good, Jess. So anyway, that's kind of it. Like nothing crazy, but the big takeaway for me has been like feeling like pressured to do it a certain way or to have it look a certain way. And it just doesn't have to, like, as long as all the things that are important to me. The one thing that I'm not doing right now, that I'm like thinking about, and my husband and I have been talking about, is like, I would love to like get back into working out a little bit more consistently. Bennett and I take walks pretty much every day, but it's been really hot, so it's hard to do that right now. And I have what's it called? A walking pad. So like when I have those like breaks of work, I'll often be on my walking pad, or I can do the walking pad and watch like my TV in here. But that's not quite it. And so like, obviously I could like go to the gym in the evenings and take Bennett, and he could do like the gym childcare, or Kenny could watch him or whatever, but just like love being around him. So I'm like playing with doing like little sprints of workouts while I'm with him. That's the only thing that feels a little off. And it's like more so because of me, not because of anyone else, right? Like I just really like that time with him. And so I don't love the idea of sacrificing any of that. I could probably do it during the day or fit it in during the day a little bit more, but I just have to kind of like get my head around that and think about that a bit more. So that's that. I mean, that's like the only thing that I feel like I'm like still trying to kind of nail in and figure out. But that's, to be determined. That's what you watch too. At least I love that. Skincare and sleeping baby. It's so good. Oh, thank you, Lauren. We do miss Big Thoughts. Oh, Parker loves doing it with you. Okay, I'm gonna try that, Jess. I really think like we have like a workout room like in our house kind of thing. I need to like fix it up a little bit and stuff, but it's like I think I could just bring him in there and he would probably love it. So that's something I need to like think about more too. But by and large, I feel really good about how it works right now. And I don't think it will work like that forever. But for me, for right now, for how I'm kind of designed and set up, how our life is set up, it just feels really great. And yeah, again, I think it will change. Like obviously everything changes as a kid or when you have a kid, but like, this works for right now. I think someone had said they want me to talk about like how it's different transitioning to being a mom. So I'm happy to share that too. As they get more mobile. Yeah, he's like running around and shit now. So I think that's probably so smart. I'm really going to try that. Thank you for saying that. What I think is so different now that I'm a mom, that's so funny, is like, so now, like I started Dateable when Bennett was 8 months old or something like that, right? So I have like 2 businesses now. And I'm like, what the fuck was I doing before? To be honest, like that's what I think about. And I was not like wasting time before by any means. Like I'm not like a big perfectionist, procrastinator, any of those things, but somehow it just all fits. And that's what I'm always shocked about. I'm like, I just used to work more than this. And I, didn't have like these whole long afternoons where I was like going in the pool and hanging out or like taking all this time in the morning or whatever. And it's just funny how like whatever that quote is, like things expand into the time allowed. Like it is so wild to me how that proves to be true over and over again. And so that's almost like what I wish I had known more or leaned into more, I guess is a better way to say it. When I was like, oh my God, what is this going to look like after I have Bennett? Like it just kind of works itself out. And again, it's not that you don't plan or that you're not intentional or whatever, but it's just been amazing to me to see how like there really is time to do all the things that are important to me. And like, even though it seemed like there wasn't as much margin before, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to like really cut down on clients or whatever. And it's like, the margin is just there. It's wild. I don't know. It just works out. So anyway, that's like honestly been the transition for me, is to just see how like, yeah, I'm like, I just get shit done. I don't know. It's crazy. Oh, what I didn't talk about was Fridays. So Fridays are different because we only have our nanny from 10 to 12. So Friday mornings, I have like a longer time with him. We hang out more. We do a little bit more. I do try to get ready with him sometimes on Friday mornings because I start calls like right when she gets here, but Kenny will usually, he's around Fridays too. So he'll always help with that. And then I usually have one call on Friday afternoon that either Kenny will take him for or my mom will come hang out with him for, because she like wants to see him and be a grandma as much as possible. So I usually will do that, and then I'll catch up on like a little work. So I'll probably take like a little window on Friday afternoons. And then sometimes I'll take him somewhere Fridays, like to this little play place over that we have over here or something like that, just like as a fun thing together. So yeah, Fridays are a little bit different. They're not as like full on. We only have 2 hours of childcare. And for us, that just again works right now. Who knows, right? But Kenny usually takes Fridays off as well. So we kind of can bat back and forth kind of thing. It's easy to make that work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions that anyone has, happy to be as much of an open book as I possibly can be. But yeah, I think just the biggest takeaway I can give, aside from the like things I've been into the time allowed, is like, is there a way to make all the things that are important to you happen in one day, even if it means letting go of like what you think it's supposed to look like? You know what I mean? Like the bath in the middle of the day or whatever, you know what I mean? The stuff that feels like, well, it's not supposed to look like that, or I'm supposed to work when our nanny's here, or I'm supposed to whatever. Like if you let go of all of that, is there a way to make your schedule feel so good and grounded and juicy to you? And for me, like as soon as I let go of all the like, this is what it's supposed to be, it was like really, really, really obvious how it was supposed to look. And so that's sort of what it is for me. Lauren said, would love to know the balance between coaching business and Dateable. Looks like I'm also running two business, and the balance is definitely a learning curve. Yeah. The thing that has been helpful for me is like, I have always been clear to Jen, my business partner, to our team, to whatever, that a lit up life is it for me. Like, so I would say the vast majority of my time goes to a lit up life. Any portion of my time goes to Dateable, and that's just scheduled out in my calendar. Like I just know when Dateable time is. I would say 80% of my time goes to a lit up life, 20% goes to Dateable maybe. And that's just okay. You know, that's like something I knew going into it. But it's not going to be 50-50, and that's not the intention. And so yeah, just kind of worth mentioning that. Maybe it's even 85-15. I don't know. I'd have to like really think about it, but I'm really good at like being like, this is a priority, and keeping the priority. And then like the other stuff works out or fits in. So Dateable in some ways is slower to grow because it just takes us less time. And in other ways, like the setup of that business works for less time. And so that's sort of how that fits in my head. And I just have it pretty specifically on my calendar. Curious if you do any intentional mindset work. Yeah. I do try to journal most days when our nanny's here. So at some point during the day, I always have my journal like sitting on my desk, and at some point during the day, I'll try to grab it and journal. Or I'll even like just journal in my phone. Sometimes like if I do take a bath in the middle of the day, sometimes I'll journal in my phone. So I really try. I wouldn't say I'm like perfect at it, but I'm pretty consistent, and do try to like make that a priority. Even just like sometimes when I'm like drive Bennett somewhere, I like say affirmations out loud, like nothing perfect, or it's not this like stringent routine, but I do try to do that most days for sure. Do you still calendar all of these things, or is it more fluid than that? I for sure calendar. Pretty much everything that I need to do is on my calendar. So like I am fluid during the day in the sense that like Bennett can run in and out, and I don't feel super rushed, but like I know what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm supposed to be doing it. That helps a lot. Like there is time on my calendar for content creation for a lit up life, for content creation for Dateable, for podcast recording, for this live stream, for like you kind of name it, and for the most part it's on there. Is how I roll, because otherwise like I wouldn't know if it all kind of fit, and I don't want to be at that point where I'm saying yes to more things than realistically fit. So yeah, we put all of that on the calendar. Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't move, right? Like this morning, technically on a Monday morning, there's a lit up life content creation time. Well, I went to the dentist and I went to the doctor, so I moved it to a different like open slot during the week. So I'll move shit around often, but like it's getting moved and it's there. It's not like whatever, I just have to fit it in the cracks because that doesn't feel good to me either. Like I want to know that it fits somewhere, or I feel stressed because I'm like, where is this supposed to go? So again, I'm like flexible in that I move shit around a lot, but I'm clear in that it like is on the calendar. And that makes a big difference for me to kind of just know. And then usually the night before, I don't think I said this. Usually the night before, like I'll just write a quick to-do list of like what's going to happen the next day kind of thing. And I'm always like really good at being realistic about that because it's in the calendar. So that just helps my brain a little bit, because if not, like it is kind of easy to be like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing right now, especially with two businesses. And so I just try to like eliminate that decision fatigue as much as I can. Makes sense. Second biz in evenings and focusing on core biz during the day has worked great for me. I love that, Lauren. That's so helpful. Hi, Charmaine. Thanks for sharing your day. It's so lovely to hear how grounded you are. I love how you always make me feel normal, and it's good to do what works for us. Yes. I would like to know how many clients do you see in a day and how long are your client sessions? Yeah. So my client sessions are 45 minutes in a day. It depends because I don't do like a specific amount each day. I would say that like I kind of have a cap of I wouldn't do more than 5 in a day. But it's not to say I've never done that either, right? Like, I think this week I have a day where I have 6 because someone had to move something and I am taking off Friday. Oh, that's another thing I didn't say. I always take off at least 1 or 2 Fridays every month. So not even the 10 to 2 or afternoon thing, just as like a catch up day, or as like if I have other appointments day or whatever. So anyway, just, I don't think I mentioned that, but I do try to have like at least 1 or 2 of those days off every month. And then usually my team will schedule one other, like I think I have Monday coming up off. So they try to just kind of put in those times so that I can always, like get caught up or have personal time or make appointments or whatever. Like I think Monday I'm taking Bennett to the dermatologist that he has to go to. So just stuff like that, like where there's like these gaps that kind of fall in, and they try to protect that time, which I like really, really appreciate. Side tangent, but your personal outreach life super inspired me to lean more into that. And I've had so many great conversations since then. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that, Lauren. Heck yes. Good for you. That is freaking amazing. Thank you for sharing that with me. Yeah, so I think that's it. I mean, the scheduling days off is really helpful too. And again, just kind of knowing you can and like knowing you have that. So like I have this big project I've been working on that I like want to get out into the world so bad. And you know, it just goes slower to a certain extent because like obviously when you have a kid, it's not like before I could just be like, oh, I'm just going to work on this on a Saturday or something. And that's just kind of not my reality anymore. But I mean, it could be, let me say it like that, right? Like I could say to Kenny, hey, I want to work on this project, and he would be totally fine with that, but it's not what I want to do. But what's the point I'm making, and what's nice about that is like, I know I have this coming Monday totally off. So I'm like, I'll just do it then. Like, it's just nice to have the placeholder, even though that's further out than I'd maybe want it to be. Like I have these placeholders, or like, if I have an appointment, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just have that day. I'll just do it then. Like that is really nice and grounding too. I love one-on-one client work and appreciate you championing this mode of work for those of us that love direct client work. Yes. Thank you, Charmaine. Yeah, totally. It's, you know, some days it's 5, some days it's 4, some days it's 3. Like it does depend, but like I like the variety of that. And yeah, I think, you know, for some people like doing 5 calls in a day sounds like hell, but I really enjoy it. And I think again, it's just a personality thing. It's just how your design thing. It's kind of like the human design environments thing we were talking about. Like the fact that we just say that it's so right or wrong is crazy, because it's not. There's no right way. Just like with 101, you know? So yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I have loved this live because it's so permission giving to do what feels grounding to you personally. Exactly. I really think that's the whole point of this. You know, I don't think I have it all figured out. I don't think that my day is perfect. I don't think anyone should like write a book on my, you know, like miracle morning routine or any shit like that. But what I do know is I feel like really grounded, and I feel like I get to do the stuff that matters to me every day. And I feel really happy about that balance. And I think that that's all we can ask for. And that's all that matters. So hopefully that is the reflection there. And, you know, the one other thing I meant to say that I wanted to say that I find so interesting in our space right now, I'm going to try not to go off on too much of a tangent here. Feel free to jump, y'all, but I'm just going to share this really quickly on this topic is, I feel like a lot of people will say stuff like, I only work X hours a week, but what they really are talking about is how much like delivery time they're on the hook for. So like how many calls they're on. So they'll be like, I only work 10 hours a week because they're like doing 10 hours of client calls or something. And I think that's really misleading, because there's so much other work that goes into running a business. So when I'm talking about like 5 calls in a day at most, that also means like a live stream like this, podcast recording, team meeting, that kind of stuff, right? There's so much else that goes into it, not to mention like there's content creation, there's like communicating with clients, like I could go on and on. So I'm just trying to keep it real on the fact that like I definitely work, I mean, probably, I don't know, 30 to 35 hours a week. I gotta guess. I don't even know, right? Because I don't even time it at night and there's no like right, perfect answer here. But I just want to like mention that is like, yes, I'm like taking bubble baths a lot during the day and I'm like kind of in and out and whatever. But it's like, if I only counted client calls, I would be giving you a totally different number, but that's not true. But it also doesn't mean that I'm not like, that I'm like hard at work all the time. So anyway, I just wanted to like mention that because I do think it's really misleading. Yeah, everyone's like so misleading. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's how a lot of people are quantifying their work time. And I think that that gets really confusing. Because yes, that's what you're kind of like on the hook for delivery wise, but I think that's different than like how much it takes to operate a business. And like some people, I think they're like, well, I just like jump on social or I answer DMs and it's like, I don't even count that time, which is totally fine. Like it's so awesome that that feels in flow, but it realistically is still time, right? So I could be like, oh, I only work when our nanny's here, which is true ish, but I also do catch up in the evenings, even if I'm like on the couch watching TV, that's still technically I'm working. So just wanted to name that in case that was like something that you've been struggling with too, is like it does take time to run these things and that's okay. And it can feel easy, like it feels so easeful for me when I'm like doing the couch thing or when Bennett's like in my office and I'm like banging some shit out or answering some Instagram messages or whatever. But like let's just be real about what that takes. So anyway, just wanted to give that context because I think that's important. That's all I got. All right, guys. Remember, if you made a comment, you're entered to win $100 gift card. And then also, just wanted to say this, if you are not on the wait list, now is the time to make sure you are, because I think we might be opening a spot soon. So if you are not on one-on-one wait list and do want to think about working together one-on-one, or at least want to hear about that or want the option for that, jump on the wait list because I think a spot may be coming available soon. So I will keep you posted on that for sure. I will let you know if that definitely happens, if you are on the wait list. So check us out there. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a beautiful week. And I loved this conversation. I love y'all for being here. If there's anything else that you want me to go into more detail around, again, I know a few people asked for this and I love doing those that you asked for. So if there's anything you could think of, feel free to message us, tell us all the things. All right. Love you guys. Have a good week. Bye.